Hi. So a lot of people were asking me about an update for Growpital. So first of all, a disclaimer that this update has nothing dramatic, but let's go through where we started from. So on the 29th of Jan 2024, SEBI froze the bank accounts of Growpital because presumably it was not registered as a CIS or a collective investment scheme, and the bank accounts were frozen. And then the whole action started. And for nearly a month, Growpital tried to communicate with SEBI, tried to give them all the documents, gave them all the information that was required, but the bank accounts were not getting frozen and the standing crops were getting perished. So on the 5th of March, Growpital filed a writ petition in the Rajasthan High Court because the fundamental rights of Growpital were being presumably infringed upon, and everybody, including the partners, were getting financially hurt. So, the Rajasthan High Court gave importance to this writ petition and duly gave a quick hearing to Growpital. And on the 14th of March, the High Court, I'm not entirely sure about this 14th March date, but it was near about this time when the High Court listened to Growpital and asked Growpital to invoke SAT, which is the Securities Appellate Tribunal, which is a higher court than SEBI. So if you're not hearing from SEBI, you should go to SAT as per the rules. And SAT can overturn the decisions of SEBI. So in the meantime, something interesting happened. While Rajasthan High Court asked Growpital to go to SAT, SEBI gave a date for hearing to Growpital for the 12th of April. And they also got a hearing from SAT for the 16th of April. So now both SEBI and SAT were responding to Growpital. So on the 12th of April, the SEBI hearing was done. But the interesting part is SEBI got to know that anyway there's a SAT hearing going to happen on the 16th of April. So they conveniently told Growpital that they will give another date to Growpital for hearing from SEBI after the SAT hearing was done. So it's kind of a ping pong going on between the various courts while our standing crops are getting damaged by the day. But so be it. You got to wait and watch. So on the 16th of April, finally the SAT hearing was done. The Securities Appellate Tribunal hearing was done. And I think this was the first very important step in the right direction where somebody actually listened to Growpital, on a personal basis and an in-person meeting and listened to all the details. So in this meeting, the judge at the SAT, although I must say that only the technical members were present in the tribunal as reported by Growpital, so the full quorum was not there, but the members who listened to Growpital, they did recognize the perishable nature of the crops. Growpital on its own part highlighted the undeniable presence and active operations of the farms to prove that they were just not a fraud or a fly-by-the-night operator. All the documentation was provided, and therefore the judge duly recognized the perishable nature of the business, and he underscored the importance of the SEBI hearing to the perspective of Growpital, and therefore it was decided that Growpital would present to SEBI a strategic plan for the business continuity on the 19th of April. And then SEBI would hear upon this plan on the 22nd of April. So on the 19th of April, Growpital submitted to SEBI a plan where they detailed out how will they run the day-to-day business of their operations, which is primarily farming, and how do they plan to return the capital to the partners. And this should be music to all our ears, right? Because our capital is stuck over there. So two important things in the plan submitted by Growpital to SEBI on 19th April were how would they run the day-to-day business, essentially the business continuity, and how do they plan to return the capital back to the partners. And on 22nd of April, indeed, the hearing took place between Growpital and SEBI. It was a 90-minute discussion with I suppose, what they call a WTM, which is a whole-time member of SEBI, where it was naturally an in-person meeting, and they had a detailed 90-minute discussion with SEBI and where the plan was explained duly and so forth. So now SEBI has promised that they would give a hearing again to Growpital on 23rd of April, which is actually when I'm making the video. So the hearing might be going on at the moment, and we'll get to know the updates later on what happened to the hearing today. But looks like finally there is light at the end of the tunnel, where SEBI is now actively listening to Growpital, perhaps understanding that if they don't act quickly, then there will be nothing left to save for the investors, and therefore SEBI is hearing Growpital. And depending on the outcome of today's meeting, we'll get to know whether the bank accounts will be frozen or not, whether we'll get our capital back or not, whether the business at Growpital will continue or not. So we're still not out of the woods, but looks positive, and keeping our fingers crossed for the outcome of the hearing today between Growpital and SEBI.